Young and the Restless. Adam's desperate mission to save Victor from Kane's trap. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week see Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, showing up to play hero, and he's all in a lather. There's a surprise guest with deep and treacherous ties to recast Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, and also, Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, is making some big moves. We are going to talk about Adam racing to save Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. But first, we're going to start with Kane. The return of Kane Ashby. Shocking twist as Aristotle Dumas revealed. So, at the end of this week, Aristotle Dumas finally made himself known, and it is a big deal. As we've been saying right here for quite a while, the mystery tycoon is indeed Kane Ashby. The writing has been on the wall for a while. All the signs pointed there, and they kept trying to, point us in a different direction, but clearly, the signs were there. I'm willing to see how it goes. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that he's younger, that he has no Australian accent. Just very much completely unlike Daniel Goddard. But I'm a big fan of Billy Flynn, and Daniel Goddard is on contract over at General Hospital. So, this is what we have. We'll see. I think you guys are going to like Billy Flynn if you've never seen his work before. Young and the Restless spoilers. Kane Ashby returns. Kane insisted on talking to Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, in private first. So his ex-wife didn't find out the same time as everybody else that he is Dumas. And of course when Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan, brought her to Dumas, we saw Lily on edge about why she was being separated from the main group. And of course seeing Kane after all these years shocks her. He's been gone off the screen 6 years. But surely, you would think they had overlapped while visiting the children, the 2 children they have in common. Maybe not. It's kind of weird. Lily should have gotten occasional updates from her offspring. Unless Kane just totally ghosted his firstborn kids, right? So, Lily's livid. She says this all feels deceitful. And Kane is promising that the name is fake, but everything else is him. But still, I doubt he's got a snowball's chance in hell of getting another shot with Lily. At least not right now. So Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, should be golden on that front. What was also irritating is that it was Victor who announced Dumas was Kane, Anyway, all this tension carries over into next week as we're going to see a little bit unfolding about why he has done this. Chateau party drama. Secrets, games, and unexpected guests. So on Monday, a very annoyed Billy Boy Abbott, Jason Thompson, asks, "What the hell is going on here? What's this about?" And that comes right as Devin Hamilton, Brighton James, and Damien and Lily come out of the hedges because she had pulled them aside to warn them Dumas is really her ex-husband Kane. And Lily says she also wants to know what the hell's happening. No more secrets, no more games. But come on, we know there's going to be secrets and games. And then next week, we're going to see more guests arriving at the party at the chateau. Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, arrives along with a few others. She was held up because her and Devin's son Dominic was sick, and Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, and Lauren Fenmore, Tracy Bregman, are there. They were invited but were not expected to show up yet. Here they are. And most importantly, Abby's ex-husband Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, arrives with them. So, Michael's saying it looks like they started the party without them. Lauren wants to know what they missed. Yeah, you missed the Kane is Dumas. And then Jack is wondering why Chance is there. Most of the other people are business owners, prominent bigwigs in Genoa City or their plus ones. But Nina Webster's, Trisha Cast, Precious son, Chance, is a cop, not a corporate show-off. And Jack says that Chance being there really stands out. And yeah, I absolutely agree with Jack that it does. Young and the Restless spoilers. Kane's past. But, Chance is Jill's grandson, and he should have rightfully been right there running Chancellor and inheriting it alongside Billy. So, it's basically like that legacy is gone from him. So, after considering it, Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, wondering if it's about Kane's ties to Jill, who is Chance's grandma. And Jack reminds people of the ancient history about Kane pretending to be Jill's son way back in the day, which is dubious now that they have aged the actor down by I don't know what, 10 years or so. So that may be part of it, but it feels like Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, has a better grip on it next week when she thinks Chance being there is about Chancellor Industries. Chance is a chancellor after all, she says. And Billy mentions he's also a cop. I'm not sure why that matters because Chance has no jurisdiction in Fancy Pants France. Intrigue and seduction. Phyllis, Kyle, and Audra's risky game. And then we've got Amanda talking to Kane telling him Victor is a formidable opponent and to not underestimate him. And Kane's telling Amanda he won't. But he also says Victor underestimated Aristotle Dumas and is doing the same with him as in him being Kane Ashby. And Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, who has been non-stop lurking and eavesdropping and being a general desperate busybody, walks up on them talking. Phyllis is quick to assure Kane she would never underestimate him. Now, if you remember your past, Phyllis and Kane have overlapped during some Newman versus Abbott things. Sometimes they've worked together, sometimes not so much. At one point, if I recall correctly, Kane actually outed Phyllis and let Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, know his wife Red was boinking his brother Billy back when Jack and Phyllis were married. But that has been quite a while ago. Young and the Restless spoilers. Audra Charles gets flirty with Kyle Abbott. And in some troublesome news, Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, gets flirty with Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, next week and it seems to be working. She's making things happen. Audra's handing Kyle her tube of Jabot birthday suit sunscreen. Asks him to put it on her. Audra's talking about how she never leaves home without it.
You may remember when Jabot first came out with it, Kyle was slathering some on him and then he dove into the pool at the GCAC and sort of accidentally or not accidentally lost his swim trunks and bared all you know he was wearing just a sunscreen, which is why it's the birthday suit stuff, and that really helped move that product.
Plus, both Zuleika Silver and Michael Mealer talk about Audra going too far and having too much fun with Kyle in France. And he talked about seduction and no cell phone service and joked that what happens in Nice stays in Nice. So, it sounds like something is definitely going to happen with Kyle and Audra in Nice, which good for Audra, she thinks, but it's going to come back around to bite her. I'm quite sure karma is heading in her direction. Betrayal and family secrets.
And
Claire,
more trouble for
Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, and Kyle's relationship lurking back in Genoa City too. She is back from her dad's hospital bedside in Chicago, and Claire runs into Holden at the GCAC bar. They are once again drinking Vespers together. Claire seems kind of tired, maybe a little stressed over her dad, but also strangely flirty, and she tells Holden it's her good fortune running into him. Holden tells Claire he's the lucky one. All very interesting, borderline contrived, because there's really no reason that she would be flirting with a guy and no reason that Kyle would be flirting with Audra. But, you know, this is what we've got. We have to live with it. Young and the Restless spoilers. Does Adam already know about Kane? And speaking of hunks that need better storylines, guess who shows up in Italy? Adam apparently goes to great lengths to get onto the train rail car. He is drenched in sweat by the time he arrives. And he made this colossal effort to get to his family to warn his father. So Nick next week is wondering how Adam got up there because everything is closed and Adam says it wasn't easy. He's there to tell Victor something very important he found out about Dumas. So at this point I wonder if Adam already knows it's really Kane. Hopefully that's not what he showed up to say. That could have been done via telegram or something if he couldn't get through on the cell phone. Adam tells Victor he's not going to like this news at all. And I'm wondering if Kane is not only making a move on Chancellor, but also on Newman Media or maybe even Newman Enterprises, Victor's flagship corporation. He got everybody there where there's no cell phone service and invited all of them. So maybe he was trying to create a distraction so that he could pull some kind of takeover stunt while they're all there drinking expensive champagne. We'll see. The sky over Genoa City had grown heavy and gray, as if even the clouds sensed the tension brewing beneath the surface. Inside Newman Tower, Adam Newman paced the length of his office like a caged panther. His phone buzzed every few seconds with messages, alerts, and warnings from security. None of it eased the knot tightening in his chest. Victor Newman was missing. And Adam knew exactly who was behind it. Kane Ashby. The name alone made Adam's jaw clench. Kane had returned to town quietly, like a shadow slipping across a wall. No fanfare, no warnings. But he hadn't come back for peace. He'd come back with a plan, one fueled by old resentment, betrayal, and unfinished business with the Newmans. Adam ran a shaky hand through his hair. Damn it, Dad. Why didn't you tell me he was sniffing around? He knew the answer. Victor never backed down, never admitted fear, never asked for help. Especially not from his sons. But this time, Kane hadn't come to negotiate or seek revenge in broad daylight. He had come to trap Victor in a game he couldn't control. And now Victor was nowhere to be found. Adam grabbed his coat and stormed out of the office, ignoring the startled looks from employees. There was only one place he could go. Someone who had been quietly watching Kane's movements long before anyone else. At Crimson Lights. Billy Abbott sat alone at a corner table, nursing a cold coffee and scrolling through updates on his phone. When Adam burst through the door, Billy didn't even pretend to hide the annoyance on his face.
"Oh good," Billy muttered. "Just what my day needed."
Adam walked straight to him.
"Where is Kane?"
Billy blinked. "Hello to you too." "Cut the crap, Billy. You warned me Kane was back for more than a reunion tour."
"You followed him."
Adam leaned in, voice low.
"Victor's missing."
Billy froze. All sarcasm drained from his face.
"Missing?"
Adam nodded.
Billy sighed and rubbed his forehead.
"Okay. I know Kane's been meeting with some questionable people on the south side of town. Not exactly charity work.
Give me the address."
Billy hesitated. "Adam, this isn't the kind of situation you run into alone."
"And yet here you are,"
Adam shot back.
"Help me or get out of my way."
Billy exhaled sharply.
"Fine. But we go together."
Adam didn't argue. Time was running out.
The warehouse.
The address Billy provided led them to a decrepit warehouse near the Genoa city outskirts. The kind of place where deals went down that never made the morning news. Adam and Billy moved silently through the shadows, listening for signs of life. A muffled voice echoed from inside. Low, calm, chilling. Kane's voice. They exchanged a look, then crept closer. Inside, Victor Newman sat tied to a chair, hands bound behind him but posture defiant as ever. His eyes burned with icy determination. Kane circled him slowly, like a predator savoring victory. "You've built an empire on manipulation, Victor," Kane said. "But this time, you don't get to pull the strings." Victor lifted his chin.
"You overestimate yourself, boy."
Kane's smile tightened.
"Not today."
Adam felt something ignite inside him. Rage, fear, desperation all tangled together. His father might frustrate him, challenge him, and sometimes wound him, but he was still his father. Billy whispered, "We need a distraction." But Adam had already moved. The confrontation. Adam kicked the warehouse door open, stepping inside like he owned the place.
"Kane!"
Kane whirled around, surprise flashing across his face before morphing into irritation. "Adam Newman. Of course. You're making a mistake," Adam said, voice low and dangerous.
"Let my father go."
Kane chuckled. "Sorry, but Victor and I have unfinished business."
"Oh, I'm aware," Adam replied, inching forward.
"But dragging him out here? This isn't revenge. This is stupidity." Kane's eyes hardened. "You Newmans think you're invincible." "No," Adam said. "We think you're predictable." Before Kane could respond, Billy slipped in through the side entrance, knocking into one of Kane's accomplices and tackling him to the ground. Chaos erupted. The second accomplice lunged toward Adam, but Adam ducked and slammed him into a stack of crates. Kane grabbed a metal rod, swinging at Adam's head. Adam dodged by inches, countering with a punch that landed hard enough to make Kane stumble. "You don't get to touch my father," Adam growled. Breathing heavily, Kane straightened. "You think you're the hero in this story?" "No," Adam said. "But I'm a hell of a lot smarter than you." With a final shove, Adam knocked Kane backward. The metal rod clattered to the floor.
Billy restrained the last henchman, and the warehouse fell silent except for the echo of heavy breathing.
Adam rushed to Victor's side, untying the ropes. Victor eyed him carefully.
"You shouldn't have come alone."
Adam laughed breathlessly. "I didn't." The
I
afternoon
brought
sun
an
filtered through the blinds in Chancellor Winters, stretching long beams of gold across the conference table. Lily Winters sat at the head of the room, flipping through the pages of a contract for the 10th time, but the words still blurred. Her mind had been drifting for days, ever since those anonymous emails began arriving. Each one contained the same cryptic message. "Your past isn't buried. It's waiting." Lily had ignored the first, deleted the second, but by the 5th, her nerves were stretched thin. And now, as a sudden knock echoed on her office door, she jolted upright. "Come in," she called, her voice tighter than intended. Devon stepped in, concern etched across his face. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "I might have," Lily whispered, sliding her phone across the table. Devon read the latest message and frowned. Before he could speak, Billy Abbott appeared in the doorway, holding a printout. "Okay, before you freak out."
"Billy, what is that?"
Lily asked. Billy stepped forward slowly, as though approaching a startled animal. You need to see this. Someone filed a corporate inquiry claiming Chancellor Winters has been infiltrated. And the name they listed. He paused for dramatic effect. Aristotle Dumas. Devon snorted. That sounds fake. Billy nodded. Because it is. That's Kane's alias. Silence hit the room like a brick. Lily felt her breath catch painfully. The world tilted. Kane? After all these years? After closure, heartbreak, and trying to move forward? No, she whispered. Kane wouldn't do this. But another knock sounded, this one louder, more urgent. Before anyone could respond, the door swung open. And there he stood. Kane Ashby. Older. Weathered. Eyes shadowed by secrets no man should carry. But undeniably him. Lily's heart stopped. Kane stepped inside, closing the door quietly behind him. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. Billy threw his hands in the air. Oh, this should be good. Kane gave him a weighted glare before returning his gaze to Lily. I need your help. And I didn't know who else to turn to. Devon crossed his arms. You're using stolen identities again? That's your idea of a comeback. Kane shook his head. No. Aristotle Dumas isn't just an alias. He's real. And he's after me. The room fell silent. Start talking, Lily said sharply after they moved to a private conference area. She sat across from him, legs crossed, protecting herself with posture as much as with distance. Kane took a deep breath. After I left Genoa City, I tried rebuilding my life. Legitimately. Then, a few years ago, I fell in with a man named Aristotle Dumas, a financier with connections across Europe. We started a project together. Or so I thought. Billy raised an eyebrow. Let me guess. He wasn't what he claimed to be. Kane nodded grimly. Aristotle used me as a front. Money laundering. Corporate espionage. When I found out I ran. I left everything behind, except proof of what he did. Devon leaned forward. And he wants it back. He'll do anything to get it, Kane whispered. Lily stared at him, unsure if she should be angry, terrified, or sympathetic. Why involve Chancellor Winters? Why drag me into this? Kane swallowed. Because Aristotle is already here. A cold shiver crawled down Lily's spine. He set up a shell company. He's buying into businesses all over Wisconsin. And one of his biggest targets is this one. Billy's eyes widened. You're telling me we've got an international criminal using our company as a pawn? Kane nodded. And he's sending people to take me out before I expose him. Lily closed her eyes for a moment. It was too much. Too surreal. Too Kane. That night, Lily stayed late in her office reviewing Kane's documents. Bank statements, tracking logs, encrypted emails. Everything pointed to a man far more dangerous than anyone in Genoa City knew existed. A faint rustling in the hallway made her freeze. Hello, she called out. Nothing. She stood and slowly opened the door. The hallway was dark except for the faint glow of exit signs. Her pulse quickened. Then something moved behind her. She spun around. It was Kane. Lily, we need to go. Now. What? Why? But Kane's answer was drowned out by the unmistakable click of a gun being cocked. A tall man in a charcoal suit emerged from the shadows, his expression chillingly calm. Mr. Ashby, he said. My employer would like his files returned. Lily's breath hitched. Kane stepped in front of her instinctively. Tell Aristotle, Kane said, voice steady, that I destroyed everything. The man smirked. Lies. In one swift motion, Kane grabbed Lily's wrist, pulling her toward a side exit. A shot rang out, shattering the glass of the conference window. Lily screamed but didn't stop running. Security alarmed. Employees shouted. The corridor became chaos. They burst out into the alley behind the building, gasping for air. Lily turned on him furiously. You said no one followed you. I was wrong, Kane snapped. But I can fix this. I swear. Lily. I'm not the man I was. Not the liar. Not the cheat. I've spent years trying to make things right. By dragging your mess back into my life? Lily cried. He hesitated, his voice softening. You deserve the truth. And I couldn't put anyone else at risk. Back inside, Devon and Billy had alerted Paul Williams, who launched an immediate investigation. By morning, the hitman was caught. But Aristotle Dumas remained in the wind. Lily sat alone on Chancellor Park's bench as dawn crept over the skyline. She needed clarity. Peace. Answers. Kane approached slowly. "I'll leave town again," he said gently. "Just say the word." Lily didn't look at him. "Why did you come back?" "Because running isn't living," Kane replied. "And because the only person who ever believed I could be better was you." She exhaled shakily. Part anger, part pain, part something she didn't want to name. "Aristotle won't stop," she whispered. "Not until he gets what he wants." "Then I'll stop him," Kane said. "With or without your help." She finally turned to him, eyes searching. "You could die." "I'd rather die doing the right thing than live running from it." A long silence stretched between them. And for the first time in years, Lily saw something in Kane's eyes she hadn't seen in a long time. Truth. "Okay," she said softly. "We'll fight him. Together." Kane's breath hitched, relief washing over his face. "But Kane," Lily added, "if you lie to me again, even once, this ends." He nodded. "I won't." As the sun rose fully over Genoa City, painting the sky with gold and promise, Kane and Lily stood side by side. No longer burdened by the past but galvanized by the danger ahead. Because Aristotle Dumas wasn't just a threat. He was the beginning of a war. And Kane Ashby had finally come home to finish it. Lily stayed late in her office reviewing Kane's documents. Bank statements, tracking logs, encrypted emails. Everything pointed to a man far more dangerous than anyone in Genoa City knew existed. A faint rustling in the hallway made her freeze. "Hello," she called out. "Nothing." She stood and slowly opened the door. The hallway was dark except for the faint glow of exit signs. Her pulse quickened. Then something moved behind her. She spun around. It was Kane. "Lily, we need to go. Now." "What? Why?" But Kane's answer was drowned out by the unmistakable click of a gun being cocked. A tall man in a charcoal suit emerged from the shadows, his expression chillingly calm. "Mr. Ashby," he said. "My employer would like his files returned." Lily's breath hitched. Kane stepped in front of her instinctively. "Tell Aristotle," Kane said, voice steady, "that I destroyed everything." The man smirked. "Lies." In one swift motion, Kane grabbed Lily's wrist, pulling her toward a side exit. A shot rang out, shattering the glass of the conference window. Lily screamed but didn't stop running. Security alarmed. Employees shouted. The corridor became chaos. They burst out into the alley behind the building, gasping for air. Lily turned on him furiously. "You said no one followed you." "I was wrong," Kane snapped. "But I can fix this. I swear." "Lily, I'm not the man I was. Not the liar. Not the cheat. I've spent years trying to make things right. By dragging your mess back into my life?" Lily cried. He hesitated, his voice softening. "You deserved the truth. And I couldn't put anyone else at risk." Back inside, Devon and Billy had alerted Paul Williams, who launched an immediate investigation. By morning, the hitman was caught. But Aristotle Dumas remained in the wind. Lily sat alone on Chancellor Park's bench as dawn crept over the skyline. She needed clarity. Peace. Answers. Kane approached slowly. "I'll leave town again," he said gently. "Just say the word." Lily didn't look at him. "Why did you come back?" "Because running isn't living," Kane replied. "And because the only person who ever believed I could be better was you." She exhaled shakily. Part anger, part pain, part something she didn't want to name. "Aristotle won't stop," she whispered. "Not until he gets what he wants." "Then I'll stop him," Kane said. "With or without your help." She finally turned to him, eyes searching. "You could die." "I'd rather die doing the right thing than live running from it." A long silence stretched between them. And for the first time in years, Lily saw something in Kane's eyes she hadn't seen in a long time. Truth. "Okay," she said softly. "We'll fight him. Together." Kane's breath hitched, relief washing over his face. "But Kane." Lily added.
If you lie to me again, even once, this ends.
He nodded. I won't. As the sun rose fully over Genoa City, painting the sky with gold and promise, Kane and Lily stood side by side. No longer burdened by the past but galvanized by the danger ahead. Because Aristotle Dumas wasn't just a threat. He was the beginning of a war. And Kane Ashby had finally come home to finish it.